3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GrokTALK.com. We are your feared, extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone-stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GrokTALK.com. One of the problems with building an audio voiceover where you stagger everything so that audio starts to overlap as you go through those gun-toting, hard-charging, is that you can't just voice it because you started talking while you're still talking and your mouth doesn't work that way. Welcome back to GrokTALK. I'm Steve McDonald here with Skip Murphy, who's not talking. Mike Rogers at the end of the table. Kevin Kervick is still with us, and the lovely Susan Olson. And, of course, Ann Custer. Ann Custer, who has not been with us all day.
Space reserved for Ann Custer, yes, who has nothing to say on the topic, or at least nothing correct.
And we know she's never going to show up, so we can keep doing this until November. All right, no pool guy yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully he'll show up.
What if he doesn't even know he's come back?
We can bring him back next week.
You know, I find it amazing.
This problem will not go away, right?
The problem...
Actually, why don't you fill us in, because you know as much as anybody.
You've done more research than most, so yeah, fill us in on why it is that that Jennifer's all wet and that Sununu's choice of her was even more wet.
Well, interestingly enough, you know, having grown up amongst the rich and famous and all of our childhood friends having swimming pools and things like that, I didn't know anything about swimming pools, except that somebody came and took care of it. When the lawn guy came and the pool guy came and all that stuff came, I never knew anything about swimming pools. And when we got a tip that Ms. Horn was allegedly, or actually she had filed a lawsuit against this small businessman for problems with a swimming pool in her backyard, we jumped at the opportunity to sit down and learn more about it, because the fish rots from the head down, right? So if Papa Smurf is corrupt and the chair of the party is corrupt and whoever else is corrupt, it's worth investigating. And if you are corrupt about little things, chances are you're corrupt about big things. And maybe vice versa. So I'm thinking, well, okay, we have a problem with a pool and someone's being sued. Well, what I learned, and in fact I have all a stack of documents right here in case the gentleman was going to come today. I had some more questions for him. That apparently what happened, and it's supported by documentation, is this gentleman was engaged by Ms. Horn and her hubby, Mr. Horn, to build a swimming pool in their backyard. And what I learned is that people who actually build the pool don't build the rest of it, which is the deck or the patio or whatever that goes around the pool, and that you have to, if you're building a pool, if you've decided on a deck of a particular type, then the pool has to be built in a certain way. So this didn't happen. It happened. The process was that a deck had been decided upon that dictated a type of pool being built, which this gentleman built. However, once he had finished building the pool, Ms. Horn changed her mind on the type of deck that was going to be put on top of the pool. And therein lies the alleged problem, that the deck that was constructed on the pool was not done in any fashion that actually made them integral one to the other. And over time, and even in fact early on in the construction period, the second choice deck that was, oh, it's Annie Custer!
No, it's not.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Jane.
It's an invasion. We get Jane and we get the pastor. We're in great shape here.
No, I mean the smell of estrogen in the morning. My God, this is terrible.
That's nothing. What we have here is gunpowder and caffeinated estrogen.
Ooh, Well, I like that. I like that. Maybe we could sell that.
So somebody.
So the point is that the people that built this deck did it incorrect. Did the deck correctly, but it wasn't matched to the pool. So the deck fell into this guy's pool. Okay, no fault of his own. But Ms. Horn and Mr. Horn have decided that, gee willikers, they're going to go after this guy and blame him for the damage. And apparently,
he got deeper pockets.
According to the and that's the funny thing, because according to the documents, they filed claims with his insurance company first.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thinking that you got insurance and we'll just like you have a kid that steals grandma's silver because they know it's insured.
Right.
So grandma gets her silver back. Well, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, theft is theft. So they filed not one but two claims against the gentleman's insurance company. He had to pay for the inspector to go out and look at it to make sure. The insurance company's supposed to, okay, not any equipment.
And the other person didn't have insurance.
We have no idea because
we don't know who
that's
that is.
why
Yeah.
that's why this gentleman came to Granite Grok.
Right.
Is he's looking for help to find the guy, because according to the documents and according to this gentleman, Ms. Horn told him it was none of his business who was building it, and he was done and off the property before they started the deck. So the problem here is he's looking for help to find the guy that built the deck that fell into his pool and damaged it. So now this all sounds sort of boring and pedestrian,
and why in any case, if a separately constructed deck falls into the pool and damages the pool and the liner, is it anything to do with the guy who built the pool?
7 years later, no less. 7 years later.
So two aspects of this that are troublesome, right? We can sue our way to happiness in life, right?
Generally, yes.
And insurance doesn't cost anything.
Exactly, like
And so
Obamacare.
This is the
That's why
Republican.
my premiums are zero, right?
That's right.
Sure.
And
And
this
you have
is
no
apparently
deductible.
the Republican philosophy.
Well, I don't know.
Jennifer
I
Horn.
would hope that it is not.
We love lawyers, and we're sue our way to happiness. And
But you know what's
I'm
really,
entitled to get my cash from the insurance company if I want to get my cash from the insurance company.
But what's really interesting is since this story broke on Granite Grok, apparently nobody else is interested in talking about it. But there have been emails, contacts, phone calls saying, "You're not the only one."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
You mean say?
that other people that have either done business or on this particular job are going, I kind of had a little bit of problem as well. So how this works out, I don't know, but we're trying to help the gentleman find the guy that built the deck that fell into the pool that he built, and apparently poked holes in the line, and all the water ran out, and
Wow.
and there was an earthquake too.
It's pretty awful. No, am I the only person that has never sued anybody in the United States?
I've never sued anybody.
I don't even know a lawyer. I mean, I have people I know are lawyers, but I don't have a lawyer. I blame lawyers for the destruction of Western civilization. Why would I want to give them money? I mean, I don't understand why a Republican would take that attitude.
Well,
but
and I'm afraid, and this is just me, and I'm just a jaded old hack, but I'm afraid that what's here is someone on social media said, well, it sounds like lawfare, where it's cheaper for this gentleman to go and fix it than to try to defend himself in court, because he's going to have to pay the lawyer.
Yeah, that's bullying.
So is that just horrible
That's
and
bullying is
wrong?
what it is.
Well, if you're out there saying, I love small business, I am the party of small businessmen, I am the party of
I'm a small
personal
business person.
responsibility.
All of us are at risk of that all the time.
Sure.
One lawsuit away from going out of business
Exactly.
or struggling.
And just because it's the chair of the New Hampshire GOP does that,
Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
you should. Yeah. So, rant.
No, that's good.
Gunpowder and estrogen.
Hey, did you want to talk about the thing we
That could be a post.
somebody who came into your store, female person?
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that?
Oh boy, that's a really controversial one.
You got a female
Well, it's your
in your
decision.
store?
It's your store. No, it's you held
You mean how I felt like I was being set up?
right.
Oh, okay, I guess so.
If you think you're ready, because we talked about it before and you weren't, and I didn't want to push her.
No, let's go for it.
All
I
right.
always go for it.
Go ahead. Tell your story.
So we serve everybody in our store. I have issues. I have my own beliefs, conservative beliefs. I my own beliefs about gay marriage, about lots of things, right? I have issues with transsexualism and gender issues. I think a lot of it's bunk. I think there's a lot of it, craziness around that. But we serve everybody. We would never discriminate. Anybody comes in, you want to buy our beer, buy a lot of our beer. That's great, But there was a person that came in, and I got the sense that she was sort of testing me around whether we would serve her. And I think it was a woman that looked, how do you say this without generalizing too much? She was probably a lesbian, and she was talking about her relationship and that she wanted to buy the beer for the person that married her, and she wanted to know if I had a recommendation for her. And I think since I've made some, cautious.
You make gay beer?
Well, that was the first thing that came into my head. Which gay beer shall I provide for you? I wasn't aware there was such a thing. But since I've been
I don't know.
I've been sort of public about, but in a respectful way, about my beliefs. I love gay people. I have gay friends, family. There's nothing. I have no animus there. But I'm opposed to gay marriage. I have some issues with on social. So she said that, and I got the sense at the time, my reaction was, oh, that's wonderful. Someone married you. Let me find you, what kind of beer do you like? And I kind of helped her find. But then on the way out, when she left, I thought, I wonder if that was a setup.
Yeah, why do you phrase it that way?
Why would she have brought that up?
We talk about this a lot around my house because we watch Home and Garden Television, all these others. My wife loves those channels, and it's like the media goes out of its way to normalize gay culture. It's just what they do. That's how they are, and that's fine. And there's plenty of normal things about people in general. They're people, right? But when you start to politicize it or you start to bring it out as a challenge, I'm not just gonna do what I wanted, which is to say, just accept me for being a person, regardless of whether or not I like men or women or whatever. Just accept me for who I am. I'm a productive member of society. I pay my taxes. I follow the law. Blah blah blah. All right, great, fine and dandy. Okay, live like that. I don't walk around telling people I'm a heterosexual, baby. Woohoo! Treat me different. I don't, and the culture's different, so that's not necessarily a fair comparison. But if you're going to ask people to just respect you for being who you are, why would you go out of your way to say, I'd like to buy a beer for my wife, if you're a woman? And what's the point to that? I'm looking for this. This is what she likes. I mean, you can just say it in casual conversation. You don't have to kind of emphasize the relationship you have, and am I challenging you to react to that relationship?
It felt like a setup to me, and I do support the right of the baker in wherever he was, Colorado, not to serve. That I support any business owner's right not to serve whoever they want. That's not my philosophy. We serve everybody. I don't care who you are, but I do support his right to do that as a private citizen. So I get the sense it was a setup around that issue. If we had said no, or if I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have any, gay beer here," or something like that. If that would have been in the newspaper or something like that.
If you ran a costume shop, would you have a gay beard?
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
This is the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at GerardAtLarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
Oh, I turned too many mics on before they were on people's heads. Oh, my bad. I apologize.
Scrunch, rattle.
Scrunch, rattle, clunk, bang. Welcome back to GrokTALK. I was going to say we were talking about social issues, and the Garcia campaign came out with a statistic. Ann Custer apparently has only voted on 2% of bills or whatever resolutions regarding social issues, yet she's running on being the defender of social issues, except for the other 98% of the time. So anyway.
Wow. I see a backlash coming on social issues, and I think that the conservatives are going to get more credibility. I think this conventional wisdom is that, we'll give up on those because those are over. I don't see it that way. I see a backlash really coming, and coming soon.
Skip's like, please, sir, may I have a headset?
And I think we should. I think we should trumpet those issues because I think there's actually look at the abortion debate. That the numbers are very close in terms of pro-life, pro-choice people.
It's swinging pro-choice.
And it's swinging.
He's
it's
still
swinging
talking,
pro-life.
even though he doesn't have it. Were you going to say something?
Yeah.
Because you took his headset. Or did you just want to stop him from talking?
Mike Rogers was saying it's swinging pro-life, which it is swinging pro-life, and and part of it is because the videos are out, right? The in utero videos. When people start to really see, more and more people are shifting to a pro-life position. So.
The post I put up last night, which was a stunner from the American thinker, writer by the name of Sally, whose last name I can't pronounce, went through all of the stuff that the base, the conservative base, is so upset with the Republican elite, the Republican establishment. And a big part of that, when you talk about the backlash, and you talk about the social issues, we've seen the elite, the Republican establishment, run away for years now, more than a decade. Social issues don't count. They're too divisive. They're too controversial. The problem is, in real world, social issues matter. And by running away, they've basically hung the conservatives out to dry. Not only that, but they deride them. Right. They denigrate them. They go after them and tell them to shut up because we can't make waves to win elections. So how'd that work out for the Republicans here in New Hampshire in 2006 and 2008? Then the conservatives roared back and said, we don't care. We're uniting with the libertarians over limited government, and we drug the NHGOP folks across the line, and then we got hammered for it. Right. And once again, we're seeing, remember, you don't have a mic, Mike, the social issues matter because all social issues have a fiscal cost. And by ignoring it, why should we help people that are telling us, shut up? This is the dichotomy, what I consider the plain view, plain spoken truth of, I'm supposed to help people, like you were reading from that email earlier today, that don't like me to say anything. They don't value what I believe, and yet I'm supposed to support you in being the junior lackeys of the welfare state and the junior partners of the Democrats, but I'm not supposed to say anything right now? Screw you. The unwritten principle of voting for the winner of the primary, I'll go with that, but only after those primary winners start following the actual written principles of the party. And part of that is, whether you like it or not, whether you're embarrassed or not, whether you think that's too low-brow or not, and I really think that's the problem. As long as you're not going to support the party platform, then why should I support you?
They don't realize that the president of SNHU is not going to vote for them if they do that all of those illegal immigrants who come across the border to get the free stuff, they don't vote for Republicans. They vote for Democrats. That's the way it is. You can talk about illegal immigration and making it legal, but all you're going to do is make more Democrat voters. If you aren't even smart enough to look at the numbers, I mean, right. These people don't care. They're just trying to get you to lay down. And if you do, they will eventually replace you with real Democrats.
And we're having the 7 bad years right now with Obama. Flood, pestilence, and plague. We have the flood of illegal immigrants. We have the pestilence of tuberculosis and EV68. And we have the plague of Ebola.
Waiting for the frogs.
Indeed.
Ribbit.
Indeed.
After you.
In the interim, though, I am prepared to introduce legislation at the New Hampshire House that will provide free birth control for any Democrat or progressive. Period.
I like it.
I'm willing to raise money to fund their birth control.
Yeah, a couple of jokes came to my mind, but they're very...
I had a discussion about that very briefly with Mark Stein a couple of years ago.
I would love it to think that they're actually self-limiting their population, but it never seems to quite work out. There always seems to be... Maybe that's why they want the immigrants. Because
they're very good at recruiting. They have
Yes.
the whole educational system. They have the old media entertainment complex. They own it all. They dominate it, and they just keep pumping their message out over and over and over. It's the 2 minutes hate. It It never ends. And Breitbart was right. We still aren't taking over the media culture. That is where the battle is won. That is why we do this program. That is why we blog. That is why, you are not going to win unless you keep sending your message out, hoping with bait on a hook that somebody's going to take it and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to influence at the university level, but media is where it's at. The Tea Party movement should spend all of its time on media, as far as I'm concerned, trying to infiltrate media, protest at media outlets, because that's where the action
And
is
if you
gonna
take
be
over
won.
the media, then you can get to education. I mean, because you're not going to do it the other way.
Yeah, it's happening little by little, I think. I think it's starting to really happen.
Okay, I'm going to interject once more. Breitbart said the same thing. Politics is downstream from culture. When the Republicans say they're not going to engage in the culture, then they're basically saying, well, we're staying home. The exact same thing that they berate us about doing. Well, if you're not going to engage in the culture, you're going to lose, period. That's why Rick Santorum's gone to head up a movie company. But you're absolutely right, Steve. Absolutely right, because if you don't change the culture, you're not going to change the politics. But I also like your line that you just said, and I'm not even sure that you realize it. I think GrokTALK has a new tagline: bait on a hook.
Bait on a chum the waters.
Bait on a hook. Okay, write that down.
That's good.
We'll use that next week.
It is happening, and I believe
Bait
there's some
on a
room.
hook.
I think there's some room in the kind of independent, college-educated sort of middle to pull people in. I think there's people are waiting. My students, when they come in, they're relatively conservative when they start, but when they're done, they're propagandized. They lose it. They're lost. But I think there's room in the middle.
Do you ask them, hey, have you figured out how you're going to pay for your portion of the national debt?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Forget retirement.
You need to bring us into your class.
I'd love to bring you into our
Have a panel
classroom.
discussion.
I would absolutely love to do that. Well, what I'm hoping to do is
Aging
that
feminist.
the school will allow me. I actually want to start a men's center on campus, right? Because there's the women's study,
Misogynist.
the women's. I know, rape culturist, misogynist, right? But there's a women's studies program. There's a women's center. There's no men's study.
What women's studies? What the hell are they studying?
How to hate men. That's how to hate men. There's the rules of men hating, and they study that at the beginning.
You got to understand
those
that
out.
when a man admires what you're wearing, that's rape. Okay, got to understand that. If you don't have a grasp on those fine details.
But don't you have to sign papers for that now in
If a
California?
man, if a man holds the door for you, that's rape.
Yeah.
You got to get this all down.
I asked my sexuality, human sexuality. I teach human sexuality. I asked them yesterday how
what?
I teach human sexuality.
It's
Is there a
SNHU.
lab?
There is a lab. Would you like to be in it?
Christmas.
Actually, there is. I'll give you the dates when we're done here. Yeah. So.
But we had a discussion the last time he was on about why SNHU
Do
actually
people
let
pay
him.
for this?
Of course they do. They're getting my
Wait,
tutelage. my tutelage.
Susan's face is so.
You were never in Stillwater, Oklahoma, were you?
No, I haven't. But there's a lot of good beer there.
Susan's face is so.
He's only got about a minute. Let him finish his thought.
We could sell photos as the next Mona Lisa.
I asked them, how can a man compliment a woman? What are the appropriate, acceptable ways a man is allowed to compliment?
What isn't rape?
Good
a
gold
woman?
jewelry,
Yeah.
weekend trips. No.
No, I didn't say how does he seduce a woman. Not how to seduce a woman. How does he compliment a woman?
You got to ask
And
the
you-
question because they don't know how to answer.
You have to say something like,
I like your shoes.
somebody told me
That's
that
rape.
somebody told me that you're wearing nice shoes, or apparently that's a nice dress. You have to abstract yourself out of it. You can't say anything personal. So I challenged him. How would a man actually compliment a woman? To sort of do that. So it's bizarre and it's out of control.
Well, see, that's the
And you
thing.
teach this.
Yes, I do. It's a great opportunity.
Christmas.
Actually, you
So-
see, it's important because
What's
he
the
can.
test?
I show
Staying
How
out
does one
of.
score that test?
I show
Excuse me.
pictures of a penis and a
Yeah.
vagina, and I say, circle the correct one, and then they get the circle the correct one. That's pretty much, A or B.
I think that's just not inclusive.
It's not inclusive.
But it's a good class, and I actually am
Okay.
teaching it from
Tab
a relatively
A, slot B.
conservative perspective. Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I talk about relationships and
It's-
spirituality, not just sex. I'm bringing a lot of things
In this
into
particular
one.
circumstance, given the way the culture is, there is an opportunity for a gentleman like him to fix some heads. But normally you wouldn't think you'd want to waste any time on something like
But
that.
yesterday
It's
was
college
my
level.
last class after the show, actually, so I've actually been done. Yesterday was my last class.
So are
But
they-
now I have proof, if they fire me, that there's a reason that they fire me, so I actually can, maybe I can sue somebody now. Maybe my first lawsuit
Oh,
in life,
lovely.
maybe.
Viewer, what is it?
Viewer.
bias?
Viewer bias.
Viewer bias?
Yes.
Yes, viewer bias. Maybe Jennifer Horn can help me with how to sue that for that viewer bias. Yeah.
Well, there was no pool, so I don't know if she's got the skill set. But anyway, can't say it was a dull show.
No.
Certainly can't say that.
What? Is there a degree in that, or is
course.
that like an elective?
Oh, sexuality is a huge fit. It is an elective here, but there's major degrees in sexuality, right? Yeah. And, Kinsey,
I got mine from the School of Hard Knocks. If that's what you want.
many people blame Kinsey for really
knocked
the
up.
beginning of the beginning of the sexual revolution was really the beginning of progressivism in the United States. It really pushed it forward, right?
There's a
It's
lot
all
of
about
connections. I
Kinsey,
mean, if
right?
you go all the way back, abortion
She's a
today is a
fat
result of the contraception decision, and so let me know when you're going to do that so I can take. All right. Well, next week on human sexuality in New Hampshire. Oh wait, no, on GrokTALK, we have guests. We always have guests. And next week we'll let Skip talk more. So thanks for spending some time with us. We'll try to get the pool boy back, pool guy. We'll try to get pool guy back and make sure that we can have a chat with him about this situation that he has, and maybe you can help us help him figure out whose deck fell in to Jennifer Horn's pool. Welcome back next week. That's all I got. We'll be back next week. We'll see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Grok TV.